It's 1980, I'm in 6th grade, and I'm scared. I was always an anxious kid. My parents fought and drank a lot, and we were desperately poor. We didn't have a phone, couldn't always pay the gas bill, and sometimes we ate very little. But in my 11-year-old brain, what scared me wasn't starvation, freezing to death, or missing a long-distance phone call. It was 7th grade. Because that is when the fighting began. Kalispell, Montana was isolated back then. It was surrounded by wilderness, mountains, and the Canadian border. We went through brutal winters. People did what they had to survive. It was a tough place, and boys learned to fight. So in 6th grade, I took up boxing. We trained all that fall. We hit the heavy bag, the speed bag, we shadow boxed, and we sparred. By Halloween, snow was on the ground. In December, John Lennon was murdered. It was a big deal in our house, as if some magic had been taken out of the world. I remember seeing my father with tears in his eyes, one of the only times I ever seen the man cry. In April, when the snow started to melt, we had our first smoker in St. Matthew's Catholic School basement. A boxing club from the Blackfeet Reservation arrived. They were a tough-looking crew, and I was gonna fight a boy from that team. Before my match started, I desperately searched for my parents because I didn't have a cup, and you have to have a safety cup to box. My coach, Ben, made one of my teammates lend me his cup, and since I didn't have a jock strap, I just shoved it in my underwear. It moves around, but I don't have time to worry about that because my match is called up. I slip through the ropes, and I'm in the ring. In the other corner, a tough, tan kid with long black hair. I can see the beginnings of a mustache. He has muscles. This kid has already hit puberty. And he's staring me down like he wants to eat my last taco and steal my lunch money. If he wasn't intimidating enough, they set a full headdress on top of his head. My opponent starts to chant and dance, and I swear I hear somebody hit a drum. I watch in petrified awe as he dances in perfect rhythm, never taking his eyes off of me. I am as scared as I have ever been. I don't belong in this ring. I am a skinny toothpick of a boy. And to make things worse, the cup keeps slipping down my underwear, and I can't fix it because I have boxing gloves on and they're useless except for boxing. So I'm doing this. I'm kind of twisting and trying to keep the cup in place. I am not intimidating. Then there's a large commotion. Behind me, Ben, my coach, clutches his chest. People lay him down. I stand in the corner not knowing what to do. When the paramedics arrive, they say he's gonna be okay, but he's gotta go in for more testing. As they take him out on the stretcher, he points up at me and he says, "Keep your elbows tight, kid." I search for my parents. I don't see them. Nobody's in my corner. Then there's an announcement. The match will go on as planned. I can't believe it. 2 strangers are now in my corner, and they say stuff to me, but I can't hear them. My heart is throbbing in my ears, and then the bell rings. Round 1. I step into the center of the ring as if I'm going to my own execution. I've got my gloves up above my chin. I've got my elbows tight, like Ben reminded me, and then I take a furious swath of hits, and punch after punch, my opponent dances and weaves. I don't throw any punches. I'm too busy blocking and protecting myself. People scream at me from all corners. Finally, the bell rings, and I go back to my corner and sit on the stool. These men in my corner, they yell at me, "Throw a punch, kid. Go for the body. Set up a hook." I barely listen, but I recognize something. I'm not dead. That kid didn't hurt me. Round 2, I go out and I lead with several lefts and I strike with my right. I get in a good rhythm and get my opponent up on the ropes a few times. I fight well and it feels good, but my opponent, he meets me punch for punch. We go back and forth until the bell rings. Now my lungs burn. I swish water in my mouth and spit it out, but I feel good about that last round. So I look for my parents to get the thumbs up. Nobody. It dawns on me that they're not coming and they were never coming. Round 3, I lose it. I run out and I throw punches as fast as I can. I throw lefts, rights, uppercuts, hooks, and haymakers. And then suddenly something comes out of my throat, a sob. I'm crying, I can't help myself. Tears fall down my face as I throw punch after punch. It's all too much. I'm starving, I'm scared. My coach isn't there, my parents aren't there. John Lennon is dead, and I love the White Album. I don't know if I said that last part out loud, but I can see the horror in my opponent's eyes. He is doing everything he can to block all the punches from this crazy, sobbing kid. The rest of the round is a blur. Next thing I know, I'm in my corner. These guys take off my gloves, my headgear. They pat my shoulder softly. They had witnessed whatever you want to call that last round. I don't care. I rip the stupid cup out of my underwear and toss it. Then I'm in the middle of the ring. The ref holds our arms. There's an announcement, and I feel my arm go up. I won my first boxing match by a split decision. I get this little medal with red, white, and blue ribbon, and they pin it on my shirt, and I feel this incredible joy. It never dawned on me that I might win. Hours later, the smoker ends, the Blackfeet get on their bus, my teammates leave with their parents, and I walk home in a cold, wet April snow. That night in bed, I held that medal in my hand and tried to relive the play-by-play elation of my small victory. My family would continue to struggle. I would fight all the way through school. But that night, I got a taste of self-confidence, and I took it with me. That night, I learned to fight no matter what, that the inner fight in oneself can change a person's trajectory, that a toothpick of a boy can find the courage to face what scares him. And I learned to keep my elbows tight. Thank you.